Welcome and hello, hello and welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Of course, it is Un, Poco, Moss. Happy Hump Day, guys. It's a happy hump edition of the greatest hump ever. It's Un, Poco, Moss. Of course, they call me cornbread because I'm moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat because I'm short in stature. I pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my own port. They call me Stubby Cohiba due to an unfortunate manscaping accident I had with a Vitamix blender back in the late 1970s just outside of Coral Gables, Florida. I don't know what else they call me. They call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me MC Al Dente. But anyway, it's Un Poco Mas, guys, the show where we give you just a little bit more. We try to make some foolish jokes, and we occasionally talk a little bit about stocks. So there you have the spiel, the thumbnail sketch, the elevator pitch for Un Poco Mas. And if you've tuned out by now, you probably have sound judgment. I do recommend Stock Mo among many other U-turders who are just fantastic. I think you're really going to like what they have for you. But just want to kind of go over not only the stocks I normally talk about, Neo, Sofi, Super Microcomputer. I think a very interesting announcement today, creating a subsidiary to go specifically after government contracts. I think that's really a smart move on their part, and I think they're going to do very well with that because I think they're a leaner organization. And right now, governments, I think at many levels, are very interested in, saving money and getting the best result for the, least possible expenditure. And I think that's where Supermicro shines. This building block's going to be faster. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to be, cost less. And I just, honest to God, I don't think, I think Dell and HP, I think they're really good at what they do, but I just don't think they can do it at a cost, at a speed, at an efficiency that Uncle Chucky and Aunt Sarah can do it. And I'm hoping by the next earnings report, which I think is not going to be very good. They've obviously already, warned on that. So they kind of took the hit on that one. But the stock's recovering quickly because overall their full year guidance is just extremely strong. And if you look at SMCI's guidance in the context of how weak this quarter is going to be, it looks even stronger because they're calling for 33 billion kind of on the low end. And they're saying, we think we can do more than that. So if this quarter's weak, that means the following three quarters are going to be, I think, stronger than anybody is really giving them credit for or possibly imagine. But big news today, obviously, the Fed cut the rate a quarter point. It was a split decision with one of the board members voting for no cut, and then the new member, I forget their names, I read earlier, that Trump just put on there. I guess he was looking for a half a point cut. So they settled on a quarter point, but Powell was certainly less than optimistic or less than certain that they would cut again in December. And you can see the headlines. Microsoft beats earnings, but the stock tumbles. And then Google was up huge after hours. They're just making AI deals all over the place. I've mentioned that Microsoft was like the first stock I owned. Been in the stock since 1996. So I was done very well with it. Ups and downs. It was kind of flat and low for a long time. But for my future stock, I think Google actually could possibly be a better pick than Microsoft. I think they'll both be, both great horses to bet on. But I think Google they own the most data. When you talk about Tesla and all their data from, their electric cars, think about how much data Google has from maps and, driving directions and your email and everything else. I mean, they mine all that data, feed it into their AI models. They're going to basically know everything there is to know in the world. It's going to be like the God chip. They're going to know, even more than Zuckerberg, possibly. But they know an awful lot about you too through the Facebook. Trying to look at a few of these other headlines, guys. Sorry, if it wasn't pretty obvious. I don't really plan these videos or, know anything or have any takes, any critical information. But take a look around. Any questions you want to? Not that I know the answers, but just anything you guys want to bandy about, kick around in the comments so we can talk about it. I'll try to glance over there. Of course, the only person here is user HR6JW9JW9G. What does that stand for? Yeah, you're all alone. Welcome to Poco Moss. There's nobody watching. It's a shit show. So anyway, let's see. I hope this isn't playing. Let me turn off the volume here. And then, so yeah, Meta was going down pretty hard, but Meta's had a hell of a run off the bottom. And over the long term, I like Microsoft's business and I like Google's business a lot more than I like Meta's business, because while Google is also highly dependent on advertising revenue, I find that to be a lot more durable, because I don't think those ads are placed sort of as, I don't think people sort of have the same relationship with Google they have with Facebook. Like, I think people can turn on one social media and pivot to another social media. Like, Facebook's been very popular for a long, long time, but I don't know if it'll be popular forever. I think kind of as Facebook starts to fade, Google will still be in sort of a period of ascension, getting stronger. I could be totally wrong about that, and all this investment Zuckerberg's making in AI could, all start to bear fruit. But I think a lot of this AI investment is going to be just basically pissed away. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think AI is going to take over everything. I think it's going to be extremely important, just like the internet was important, smartphones were important, but life goes on. It's not like, yes, the smartphone was probably the biggest fundamental paradigm shift. Now, you might put AI in your pocket when it's native on smartphones. You might have when you have a real world digital assistant. These things could be very, very powerful, but we're not there yet. They're going to get there, whoever gets there first. It's sort of, artificial general intelligence. They're talking about algorithms starting to have sort of a self-preservation bent. So, AI to me is a complete unknown. I can't claim to really understand how it's going to change, the degree it's going to change, which companies are going to make how much return off all these investments. But personally, I think Google and Microsoft and these guys are smart enough to know that if they're putting in these, tens and hundreds of billions of dollars, they're going to see a path how they're going to, monetize that and make a return on it. Now, some of these other companies, I think, are just throwing money at AI just to sort of keep up with the Joneses. And I think a lot of that money might be getting thrown away. Now, I could be completely all wet on that and just have no idea what I'm talking about. What else is new? Am I right? Am I right? Or am I right? Just want to talk, I guess, a little bit about this. Something's bothering me about this Sofi chart, because a lot of people think they stepped on the rally today and it's like game over. And I don't know. I just see this completely different. I look at the candle yesterday, okay, and the low is 28.80 and the high is just under 32. And even though it closed lower today by quite a bit, down here, 30.90, and then it's down a little bit more after hours, the low today is over 30 and the high is 32.56. So if you know anything about charts, which I don't expect you guys do, because most people look at charts have no idea what's going to happen or what they're talking about or how the actual stock moves. It's all related to fundamentals. It's all related to catalysts, but the chart can be very instructive if you know, in my opinion, if you know how. A lot of people, most people in the comments say I'm just an idiot. I'm like charting for preschool, and that's fine because I do like to keep it very simple. But in my opinion, if you know anything about charts, when a stock makes a higher high and a higher low, that's a green day. That's a positive day. They're stepping on the stock as high as they can, and still the entire day it's trading above 30. And remember, it's coming off 7. So it was just for the longest time here trying to consolidate above 26, this whole little channel. And now we're going to start a new channel moving above 30. And what else do you see? Pray tell, you freaking geniuses, you young scientists, you little Sheldons out there. You see it's back up above this big critical pivot. And it closed just right on the line. And no, I don't move the line just to accommodate where the candle lands. I don't have that small of a wiener. I am insecure, but my wiener's not that small. I was able to get an engineering crew from the Army Crew of Engineers. They're able to fashion a sling. They repurposed an old trebuchet. Was able to gain enough leverage to get down to the base. But we're trying to convert everything from the metric system. I got a team of scientists working on it, so we're going to get you a measurement ASAP. Oh, I don't know really what that has to do with anything, but I'm still kind of tired today, guys, but I make excuses for everything. But anyway, this is if you don't have your head completely up your ass, you can see what's going on here. And that is the uptrend is confirmed after earnings. Earnings was an absolute home run. You have analysts up and down the board upgrading the stock. You have all the right buzzwords upcoming. It's not just level 1 options. It's not just the entire introduction of crypto. The only, company with a level 1 national bank charter that's going to offer a full crypto suite, and it's going to be pretty sweet. And then on top of that, you have these blockchain payments coming next year. That the way Noto is talking about it, this is going to be instant. It's going to be secure. I know a lot of people are doing this stuff, but a lot of people think SoFi is just kind of this old sort of, it's a frumpy old bank. Look at grandma's curtains, grandma's doilies over there. I think Anthony Noto's wearing grandma's doilies, and the guy's wearing a windbreaker. He's got great hair. He's my biological father, for God's sake. Truly look nothing alike. We're the same age. He's fit. I'm fat. He's successful. I'm on turd. He has CP3 and Liz. I got Nautilurker and Birdie. But other than that, we're pretty much the same guy. Anyway, so you can look at this chart any which way you want, but I'm putting it in the context of everything that's happening. And these weasels are trying to step on the stock and just kill calls this week. But I think they're going to have a hell of a time holding this thing under 31 if the market, keeps looking green. I mean, Trump's made a Korea deal. He's talking China deal. I mean, I think China's just buying time to attack Taiwan, but we'll get to that discussion when we get to NEO. But anyway, I don't know if you guys want to see short interest. I don't even know if you guys want to watch the show. I don't know if you want me to shut up and just end the broadcast. I mean, you can voice those opinions. It's an open forum, guys. I definitely love my haters. I heart my haters. I hate people that say things like I heart my haters. I hate people that say they work hard and they play hard. I hate people who say like grip it and rip it. I'm just really anti people who try to express all their feelings in the form of like cliches. Know what I mean, big dog? Know what I mean? Can't drive a railroad spike with a tack hammer. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Yeah, I do. You're talking about your penis. I get it. Some sweaty guy was screaming that at me one time, some realtor. It's like right in my face, thrusting his hips, like, you can't drive a railroad spike with a tack hammer. It's like talking about some real estate deal. I'm like, settle down, dude. Guy's wearing a tracksuit, some weird afro with some like jerry curl in it. This is like, I don't know, 2010. This isn't 1977 or anything. So anyway, that's a fun story. Oh my God, this show's bad. So I don't know what you think. I know I sound crazy. I know I look a little bit fat, and I know, most of you guys don't trust me due to my horrible penny stock picks, which is all completely understandable. But I'm telling you, this thing's going higher. It may not go higher than 31 this week. I think it could. But volume today is strong at 95 million. There's retail's not dumping here. I mean, yeah, people who need to retire, had somebody say, if I need to retire, should I sell here? I say, in all honesty, if you need the money out in a very short time, sell here above 30. Protect yourself. Yeah, everybody wants to be a hero and, see the end of the movie, but sometimes you have to be responsible. You got, a family, you got a mortgage. You don't want to be, driven out into the cold prairie, eating a can of cold beans in your golden years, you worthless son of a bitch. So yeah, take some profit, sell some stock. Guys, the greatest of the great is finally leaving the office. The hardest working woman in show business. Princess J. I'm nothing without her. Thanks, sweetheart. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta lock the door. Sorry, guys, my office is in the ghetto. I got roving bands of street gangs. Sort of a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome situation. A Tina Turner impersonator coming by here on some kind of a motor-driven chariot. But anyway, so yeah, that's SoFi. I don't know. We can go back and talk about any of these you want. We can take a look at some shorts. This just happens to be CRISPR. They've had pretty big short on this stock. They were shorting quite a bit again today. It's down a little bit, but still, 22.5% of the free float, which is it's a really big short on a stock like this that doesn't seem to be in any mortal danger at the present time. But keep in mind the short was just recently up, 25. So they've definitely backed off considerably. But also, I think there's a misconception, to be honest, with the CRISPR chart. I mean, if you kind of really look, it sort of made almost the same exact move twice. It punched up, and then, what does the stock do? It runs up to 70, okay, and then it comes down and finds support at 50, and then, along this line, and then it runs up near 80, and then I'm thinking it's going to come down and find support near 60. So it's taking the long way home, but I still see the stock in a definite uptrend. I mean, it bottomed out at 50. If it's able to bottom out around 60, I still think the algorithm is accumulating. You guys remember, I don't know if you follow this stock, you own the stock, you probably noticed it, took a big drop the other day. See if we can see it on the chart. I guess it would be right here, or would it be right here? I can't tell from here. But anyway, NTLA had some bad data in one of their trials, and they detected, I think, some liver damage. They had to halt their trial, and that stock lost 50% that day, and I think it's continued to fall. But CRISPR actually, so I think, yeah, it was here, and then it actually recovered all day and just basically recovered all that damage. But people talk about CRISPR being overvalued. I have to disagree with that. The way these buyouts happen, and I think the leverage they have with their pipeline, the leverage they have with their safety profile, the fact that they do have an FDA-approved therapy, I think in a lot of senses, they have a first mover advantage and they have a credibility advantage, which is really something you have to earn, and it's not easy. And they've been done that. They've not sort of had their foot on the gas, and I think they've tried to be kind of realistic with their progress and conservative, I guess you could say, which I think is what you need in something that's completely cutting edge, unproven. Everybody's very skeptical. Regulators, physicians, policymakers, opinion makers, others. So anyway, this is a hold. This is a long hold. I mean, I don't think they're going to get bought out tomorrow. Revenues aren't going to fly off the charts tomorrow. Really the best you can hope for in terms of catalysts are sound fiscal management. If they're going to raise money, do it intelligently and without hurting shareholders too bad. And then just good data. Data is everything. Readouts from their trials, particularly if you get increased good news with cardiovascular. I think that's incredibly important. But we were talking about Supermicro. This is the news. Announced federal entity to expand further into the federal market. So they're basically continuing growth within U.S. facilities, talent distributed all over America. Supermicro is committed to supporting U.S. federal government, powering its next generation of technological initiatives. Through this initiative, Supermicro will supply U.S. federal government agencies with full data center IT solutions that are manufactured in tennis firm or manufacturing facilities in Silicon Valley, California. With our data center building block solutions, we can completely design and deliver the entire IT stack. So basically, they're putting a company together to just go after government business, which someone focused just on, because to get government business to really be good at it, you have to speak the language, you have to be ingrained in the culture, the bureaucracy, the deep state. There's a specific way you win these government contracts, and I think they have an inside track because I think they're the most cost effective and the best solution, which is why I like the company in the first place. But go ahead and read this. I think it's quite important news. And this is actually the one I was thinking. I was confusing it with CRISPR. See how this stock makes literally the same move twice at almost the exact same level? I mean, it comes down to almost exactly 40, makes this little base, taps off the bottom, makes a big move up. You see that here. I mean, it's not the exact same levels, but it's very, very, very similar. You know, So this is just Groundhog Day type of stuff. Now they're making money all sorts of ways through here, whether it's options or other types of trades. But market makers are still all over this stock. Like I don't know what the short is. I don't think it's as high as it used to be be honest. But let's take a little look. See, there were just a little bit of shorting today, quite a bit of borrowing. Yeah, the shorts come down quite a bit from almost 18%, all the way down to 16%. It's still very significant short. And I think they're going to hit the stock on the weak earnings, but they've already prepared the market for that and soften the blow, I think. But if they reiterate guidance and they're actually able to hit that guidance for the year, this stock is grossly undervalued. They hire a new credible CFO. They hit 35 billion. Bingo, bango, ipso facto. I think you got, $110, $120 stock on your hands because they're going to be taking money to the bottom line. Margins are going to go up. Pardon me. Sorry, guys. I got spilled water all over myself. What are you going to do? Sorry, guys. Let me take a look at it. Oh, guys. So much bullshit. OVS, you have to wait for earnings and see where the production is. I don't think it's going to be immediate, but I think if you're willing to give the stock a few quarters and they get production up and they're talking about, paying big dividends in the next year or so, I think it would definitely turn around. I don't think the dilution is as severe as everybody seemed to. I've done the math and I like the stock. I'm still holding my position now. I'm not buying more because I just bought a lot on the last dip. I don't have a massive prop position, but I really feel pretty good about the stock and the management at this point. I don't feel great about the price action, because I'm getting bent over, but I just wouldn't have to worry about a few years post Islet cell replacement in gem. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't Islet of Panama. No, I do kind of know what you're talking about, flip top. But it's been what happens with me is I go into a stock and I do a lot of research on it when I'm thinking about buying a lot of it, and then I sort of go through everything, and the scientific stuff is like whoop in one ear and out the other. Like I sort of understand it at the time, but then if you ask me like 6 months or a year later, like about Islet cells, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm like, is that a type of pizza? Is that a place in Panama? Anyway, my cardiovascular is pooched. Yeah, I got a pear shape on me. I'm striving for a dad bod, hoping I can build a dad bod someday. Let's see. What's your take on SMCI short interest? My take is Scooteros 5056 is just that the hysteria over the accounting and stuff is died. And if you objectively look at the company, their growth rate in the last 5 years has just been absolutely insane. I mean, this is a company that I think 5 years ago was probably doing like a couple $1 billion a year in sales. And they're talking about doing 35 billion this year while being profitable. And I think their balance sheet looks pretty. If this company is like buried in debt and had all sorts of problems and had no money and no cash flow, when they went to raise money, they got a good deal. Now I know best of us investing into that poison pill kicker. That is not uncommon, especially when a company is going through such hard times in the press and in reality and every other way. I think under the circumstances, I think they did quite well. I think they could have done much, much worse. So I think that is a credit to the Wigger, Wignatowski. Iggy Wignatowski, current CFO. Un poco Adidas Soviet Grapniks. No idea what you're talking about, big number two industries. But yeah, if you send me one, send it on over. Novena 69, M1W. I'm not selling. I'm a 5-bagger. So much good news coming out for SMCI. Yeah, it's just, you just have to wait for these orders to kick in and hit the books. They're already delivering these data centers. They're already building out the products. They're having changes. They can't recognize the revenue till it's done and dusted, because I think they're being very conservative with how they recognize and when they recognize revenues. That's one of the things they were getting, slapped on the wrist for with a wet noodle. But so far, no charges, no penalties. I think they're basically trying to cozy up to the government. They see the Saudi deal, obviously, that had, the Trump administration's blessing. So they seem to have friends in the right places. And I don't really think anything's going to come of all these like scandals and investigations. I think it's all going to be pretty much swept under the rug because I think it was all much ado about nothing. I mean, they certainly did things wrong, but it was not nearly of a proportion or a scope that it was like, oh, the whole company's a house of cards or something. It's a little tiny crap around the margins the guy did to keep his siblings living well. It wasn't fake orders. The business isn't fake. The business is very, very real. SMCI, if they can get through this, period, get back to hyper growth with no accounting issues, the value of the company is going to take care of itself. It's going to double, it's going to triple, it's going to quadruple. AI spend is not slowing down. It's only accelerating. Everybody who says, oh, this is going to fizzle out, they're not seeing what these budgets are and what these projects are, and they're going on all over the world. So it's not fizzling out, it's accelerating. SMCI is preparing for that future. So anyway, Neo is an incredible company. They just had news coming out about their AI. Just look at where we were, guys. I mean, don't forget the stock was just consolidating really hard down at 350, 340 as recently as July. So if you put it in context, these flags are not so bad, and it's, recovering very quickly. I think, was this that scandal short seller deal? I can't remember which one of these candles was that hit, but they throw everything they can at this company, I think, because people know this company is future proof and this company is doing things that other companies aren't, not just with AI, not just with chips. I think they really did the planning, and this is why I like them like a company like Sofi. They do the planning and the hard work and all the investment for years and years and years, not expecting an immediate payoff, but expecting a huge payoff way down the road. That, to me, is the type of company you want to invest in, and that's the type of company I think Neo is. And I like their management. I like their execution. They cannot build enough ES8s or L90s. I think the L90 is an absolute game changer. I saw BYD's luxury unit just put out an SUV. It's a 6-seat SUV, but it's starting at $45,000. And the Onvo L90, with that battery as a service, you can get, I think, into for less than 30 grand. And plus, you get the advantage of having battery swap, which is BYD can't compete with that unless they want to join the battery swap alliance, which of course they never will because they're not going to kiss the ring at CATL. They think they're going to teabag CATL. You ain't teabagging William Lee. Ain't going to happen. But I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on with Neo. Let's see. BYD, yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's a good looking car. I'm sure it'll do well, but I don't think it's a threat to Neo Onvo personally. I might be wrong about that, but generally am. So Neo's deliveries have been very, very strong. 90 million cumulative battery swaps, updated L60. The L60 is selling well. Firefly is selling extremely well. The bottom line for me is people love Neo's products and people love the Neo product experience, and it makes their life easier, makes their life better. That's the goal of the company. It's not this like, oh, we're going to do everything full self-driving, sell all these robots. No, we're going to make cars people want, that are a compelling value, people can afford, for the real world, how people really live, for families, and we're going to own these very profitable market segments. And, swap is just a whole nother thing. Chips are a whole nother thing. AI is a whole nother thing. This company is so much more than meets the eye. It's like 10 layers deep. The guy behind the guy, behind the guy, behind the guy. 2 consecutive weeks selling 10,000 cars. I mean, this is what we were looking for, that 500,000 car run rate. That's where we should have been a while ago, but, this is not an old company. Things do take time, and there are growing pains, and there are mistakes, and you do have to learn by doing, especially when you're a young company, some inexperienced management, and I think they're really on the right track now. They've consolidated a lot of their overlap, their inefficiencies, and they're cutting every unnecessary penny, and they're doing everything I think humanly possible to be profitable, at least on a non-GAAP basis here in Q4, which to me is an incredibly bullish signal with everything they've built, all the money they've spent. If they can be profitable just selling this many cars, I think the sky's the limit for this company, and blue skies are ahead. So there, you turds. What do you guys have to say? What say you, Friar? Let's see what you guys have. Let's start from the bottom, take it to the top. Great Matt GTP. If I recall, SMCI was heard over tariff fears. Yeah, they were delaying orders for a wide variety of reasons, Matt, but a lot of it was upgrades, configuration. The whole generation of NVIDIA is new, so the company deploying it, SMCI, hasn't deployed it many times. The company purchasing the end product, the end user, has never used it. So it's the first data center they're building, with this generation of processors. There's tons of new products. There's a lot of different options. So SMCI is saying the business is there. It's just could be next quarter, could be the quarter after it, but the demand is massive. They're saying the demand is just massive. It's overwhelming. And I personally believe Uncle Chucky, but IOVA May 26. Are you still holding? Yes, I am still holding a lot of ROVA. IOVA. I already talked about prop. IOVA is an outside dark horse buyout candidate, but really, again, it's not unlike CRISPR in that the key is the readout. The key is the data. It's like Neo. The key is these car sale numbers. That's what the market wants to hear, what the analysts and the other big pharma and they want the data. They want to see, does this pipeline have legs? Is this unique solid tumor ITL, whatever? I can't remember all the initials, but is it the real deal? It looks like it could be. It's novel. If all this stuff works like they think it could, this company will be extremely valuable, but that's a ways off, Let's see. Anyone else here? Don't work hard. I try not to. Nor does my biological father, so that's good. That makes us third cousins. Scott, what's up? Sanji's left foot. What's going on? Absolutely. All those people. Flip top at GTP, made in 1980. What's up, gangster? Damn, it feels good. Be a gangster, of course. It would take years longer than we think. Maybe not many years, though. I miss Google Circles. That was kind of my social media. No, sorry, I never really used that, but I use all kinds of their other products, and I love. What do I think about Bitcoin? Jordy Sanders, what's up? Novena 69M1W, what's going on? How are you? Big pink hand, right back at you. I have Bitcoin. I'm afraid not to have it. These people that say it's going to be worth millions, Kitty Woods and Sailor and these others. I like it because there's going to be a limited amount. Is it ever going to be as useful? Is it ever going to really have the utility? I don't know. I don't know if it's just solely, like so many of these coins, they're just fake soul instruments for trading. They're just a made up thing. People are trading back and forth, see who can leave the bag of excrement on whoever's chair last, like a game of musical chairs. And whoever is left with the last chair is holding a worthless bag of shit that they paid a lot of money for to some dude with a Lambo. Hold on, guys. I'm going to close. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, anybody else want to say anything? Anybody else have anything they want to hear? I just bought a barbecue grill. Thanks. Yeah, you can tell what I'm doing. I'm either I'm wanting to put a barbecue, like an outdoor kitchen, in my backyard, but it's like sticker shock. Get a quote from a contract. I live by the beach, guys. I don't have a massive like acreage. I have a small yard, which I'm very lucky to have because most people by the beach don't have any yard. But I want to build a nice outdoor kitchen. You get these quotes, I'm not talking about the Taj Mahal. I'm talking about a fridge and a barbecue and some stone. $120,000 is crazy numbers. I'm like, dude, what am I made of money? I'm made of tacos, dude. Spend all my money on tacos. NBIS at some point after deep diving. Yeah, I actually took a look at it. It does. I do like some of the things. I will research it. It's on my list. It is definitely on my list. Got a lot of stocks I'm looking at. Well, I wish you guys would have bought Google at 150. That man, this stuff is such easy money. It's such easy money. Now I missed Meta. And people always like, I missed Palantir, I missed Nvidia. I still have some shares. I mean, I own, like I said, about 120 plus stocks, but when I sell something, I still keep a few shares, like a tracking position or a smaller position, and when I take profits a lot of times. So I'm kind of dabbling. I'm an idiot. I don't just sell everything all at once and buy everything all at once. I build positions up, I draw positions down. I do a lot of it by emotion and feel and just what my one decent testicle is telling me that particular date and time. Um, but anyway, guys. So yeah, I think SoFi is going to be very, very strong, if not the rest of this week, next week. Everybody's going to want to own these shares because the street's going to run them up. I mean, the street's going to run them up. They own the company. They don't care about the shorts. I mean, this short's not that significant anyway. And they don't care about valuation of multiples. They care about, taking the stock where they want the stock to make the most money from your pocket because you're weak and stupid. SPIR chart, it looks super manipulated in my eyes. I am very much an amateur in technical analysis as well. Self-taught, don't know anything, so I'm sure your opinion is just as good as mine. So please don't sell yourself short. Unless it's downstairs, you know what I mean? The chart looks manipulated in what respect? Like on the daily or just in general? Or see, I mean, to say whether a chart's manipulated, I have to know like what's happening with the company. So they're raising their price target. Who are these analysts? Canaccord. What the hell is this company? I don't even know what it is. Tony Renow. 3 million satellite weather data. It's a pretty small company, $331 million market cap. Have some sales. Okay, they're tracking to do about 100 million in revenue with a $300 million market cap. They're burning a bunch of cash. Baird had raised from 11 to 13. They're beating expectations in terms of the closing the gap on a loss. Revenue's not tracking too bad. I mean, doesn't look too good over the last 2 quarters, but if this is the type of company, it's like some satellite company, something running on contracts, something tech, they could be their payments, could be periodic through their contracts, but I don't really know anything about this company. They're getting weather contracts from European Space Agency, so I don't know if they make satellites or software or what they do. So I would have to take a look at it. I really can't tell you whether the chart's manipulated. Because I would have to know what I think the stock should be doing to give you an opinion of whether it's doing something contrary to that for nefarious purposes or mechanic purposes or whatever. Because usually if I think, okay, manipulation, I have to know why. Otherwise, I can't call it manipulated. Maybe it's just selling off and I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. That's quite possible. But anyway, I would love to thank everybody for watching. I'm about to pee my pants. I'm old and my bladder don't work so good. I got to go and poke a moss.